He was known as the Xiongnu of the late Sui Dynasty. Xiongnu was his lifelong idol, and even his eventual defeat and death seemed to pay tribute to Xiongnu. He was also the first person in Chinese history to be explicitly recorded as being executed with 9 clans. He was Yang Xiangan, the rebel leader at the end of the Sui Dynasty. As a well-known second-generation official, everyone thought he was stupid. In reality, Yang Xiangan wasn't really stupid. The main reason was that his father was so powerful that he seemed a bit dull by comparison. Who was his father? Yang Su, the foremost meritorious minister in founding the Sui Dynasty. He crushed the southern Chen Empire, swept through the northern Qi Empire, quelled domestic rebellions, and repelled the Turkic Empire, making tremendous military contributions to the Sui Empire. He was not only powerful but also incredibly wealthy, rivaling a nation's riches. As the saying goes, Yang Su was also a renowned calligrapher and poet in history. There's a little Easter egg about Yang Su that I've shared here for everyone to enjoy. With such a brilliant father, who wouldn't appear less prominent? Ladies and gentlemen, did your parents compare you with the children of neighbors when you were young? Yang Su was even more ruthless. He directly brought a neighbor's child home and compared him with his own son. Yang Su said, "This is the child of my colleague. He loves to read. You should learn from him in the future." Yang Xiangan didn't mind. He approached the child and asked, "Hey, brother, what kind of books do you like to read?" The biography of Xiongnu. What a coincidence! My idol is also Xiongnu. My name is Yang Xiangan. What's your name? My name is Limi. From then on, this child named Limi became Yang Xuangan's childhood playmate. The two practiced martial arts together, studied together, and later became officials together. At that time, the emperor was the protagonist of our previous video, Emperor Yang of the Sui Dynasty. After Yang Xiangan entered the palace to serve the emperor, he quickly became a second-rank official due to his father's status. Was it because Emperor Yang of Sui liked him? Of course not. On the contrary, Emperor Yang of Sui deeply resented the Yang family because Yang Su was a meritorious and powerful official. In China's 5,000-year history, how many powerful officials have had a good end when it comes to the relationship between emperors and powerful officials? Yang Su was also aware of this truth. Perhaps to reassure Emperor Yang of Sui and prevent the extermination of their Yang family, Yang Su chose not to take medicine after falling ill and died of his sickness. When Emperor Yang of Sui heard of Yang Su's death, he was overjoyed and said, "If he hadn't died, I would have had to exterminate all 9 of his clans." After Yang Su's death, Emperor Yang of Sui let the Yang family be, but Yang Xiangan couldn't let it go. In his view, the seeds of vengeance against Emperor Yang of Sui for forcing his father to death were planted in his heart. Don't forget, his idol was Xiongnu. In 613 AD, Emperor Yang of Sui personally led a campaign against Goguryeo. This was the second time Emperor Yang of Sui had launched an expedition against Goguryeo. In fact, after the first Goguryeo campaign and several years of large-scale construction, the people had long been complaining, and peasant uprisings were flourishing across the land. Yang Xiangan was the Minister of Rights at that time. Upon hearing that the emperor was to lead the expedition personally, he felt the time for rebellion had come and proactively offered to oversee the transportation of provisions for Emperor Yang of Sui. Yang Xuangan's logic was simple: starve Emperor Yang of Sui's army to death. He deceived the 5,000 soldiers in charge of transporting grain and led them to rebel against the Sui Dynasty. His good friend Limi became his military advisor, and the two officially embarked on their dream-fulfilling journey, following in the footsteps of their idol Xiongnu to conquer the Central Plains. The rebellion had begun, so what should be done next? Limi presented 3 options. The first was to follow Emperor Yang of Sui's route north, seize Jizhou's strategic point, and cut off the emperor's retreat. By capturing the provisions, they could take Emperor Yang of Sui alive once his army was starving. Controlling the emperor would be equivalent to seizing the world. Yang Xiangan feared they couldn't defeat the emperor's army and deemed this option unreliable. Limi assured him there was no need to worry and proposed a second option: focus solely on capturing Guangzhou, ignore other cities along the way, and head straight there. Guangzhou, easy to defend and hard to attack, was the base of the Guanlong group. Once there, they could establish a posture to challenge Emperor Yang of Sui. Yang Xiangan inquired if there were more options. Limi introduced a third: attack the capital Luoyang. However, Luoyang, centrally located, was where the Sui army could arrive the fastest. They must swiftly capture it before reinforcements came, otherwise, they would perish. This was a race against time. Yang Xiangan was delighted. If undecided, pick the last one. It must be the best. The families of court officials were all in Luoyang. Capturing it would shake the officials' morale. Limi was dissatisfied with Yang Xiangan's decision. To him, the last option was the worst. The speed of Sui reinforcements was uncontrollable. If an accident occurred and the attack on Luoyang was delayed, their rebel forces would be in grave danger. Yet, being an honest man, Limi didn't just present the first two options. Yang Xiangan then led 5,000 soldiers, proclaiming a grand army, and officially rebelled against the Sui dynasty, heading for Luoyang. At that time, the world detested Emperor Yang of Sui's extravagance. Many defected to Yang Xiangan along the way, and commoners joined his ranks. His troops quickly swelled in number. However, due to the Sui dynasty's order to destroy all weapons, Yang Xiangan's army was armed only with wooden sticks, lacking real combat strength. But help was on the way. Sui General Da Shi led 5,000 elite troops to intercept Yang Xiangan but collapsed without a fight, leaving behind equipment that became a Christmas gift for Yang Xiangan, providing the weapons his army desperately needed. Then, Sui General Pei Hongzhe also engaged in battle. Pei Hongzhe was peculiar. At the start of the battle, he dropped his armor and fled without a word, as if rushing to deliver a takeaway order. Thus, Yang Xiangan's army reached the Sun Gate in Luoyang. Instead of attacking immediately, Yang Xiangan delivered an impassioned speech. He essentially stated that his Yang family was wealthy and well-provisioned, so rebellion wasn't out of necessity but for the people, who were overjoyed and brought cattle, sheep, and vegetables. Thousands flocked to Yang Xiangan daily, swelling his ranks beyond 50,000. When the news reached Goguryeo, Emperor Yang of Sui panicked and hastily returned, neglecting to gather engineering equipment and provisions. The Luoyang defenders also panicked and urgently appealed to Wei Xian, the Minister of Punishment in Guangzhou, for aid. Wei Xian promptly marched toward Luoyang. Passing through Huiyin, he halted. Seeing Yang Su's tomb, he desecrated it by digging up the remains, burning the bones, and scattering the ashes. After this act, Yang Xiangan continued toward Luoyang, satisfied. Upon learning of his father's tomb desecration, Yang Xiangan was enraged and personally confronted Wei Xian in battle. Armed with a spear, Yang Xiangan initially feigned retreat, ordered his troops to falsely announce his capture, and then counterattacked. Wei Quanzheng, confused and thinking victory was his, was caught off guard when Yang Xiangan returned, spear in hand. Yang Xiangan fought like a dragon, defeating Wei Quanzheng. Witnessing Yang Xiangan's might, people hailed him as the reincarnation of Song Yu, the second Western Chu overlord. Delighted by the comparison, Yang Xiangan seemed to have achieved the same renown as his idol and was so preoccupied with joy that he forgot Limi's warning about the urgency of time. As the saying goes, power attracts flatterers. A Sui general named Li Zhixiong joined Yang Xiangan and immediately urged him to proclaim himself emperor. Fortunately, Yang Xiangan's loyal brother Limi remained clear-headed. Limi cited historical precedents, such as Zhong advising Chen Sheng and Zun Yu cautioning Cao Cao against declaring themselves kings or emperors, to warn Yang Xiangan. "I dare not advise you, even as your brother," Limi said. Yang Xiangan assured him, "We are brothers. Speak freely, I will not blame you." Limi then candidly stated, "If you declare yourself emperor, doom awaits. You've lingered long without capturing Luoyang. Soon, reinforcements from across the nation will descend upon us. Flee while you can." Ignoring Limi's advice, Yang Xiangan ousted him from the decision-making circle and appointed Li Zhixiong, the advocate of imperial proclamation, as his new military advisor. As Limi had forewarned, Sui forces rushed to Luoyang. Yang Xiangan urgently sought counsel from his new advisor Li Zixiong. Li Zixiong proposed, "No need to panic. We should fight in Guangzhou. Its terrain is easy to defend and hard to attack, with ample provisions. Establishing a foothold there allows us to challenge Emperor Yang of Sui." Does this sound familiar? It mirrors Limi's second option. Is this plagiarism? However, Li Zixiong's answer missed the crucial point: speed. Capturing Guangzhou requires swift, direct action without detours. Yang Xiangan raced to the outskirts of his hometown, Hongnou. Villagers halted his troops, claiming Hongnou was undefended, and urged him to seize it for its wealth and provisions, promising secrecy. Overjoyed, Yang Xiangan took a shortcut to Hongnou. The prefect of Hongnou, Yang Ji, awaited on the city walls. He cursed Yang Xiangan as a disloyal, unfilial, unkind, and unjust man who shamed Hongnou's people. Yang Xiangan, enraged, declared, "I am the Shuang Yu of late Sui. How dare you insult me? Attack! Capture Hongnou for me." Limi rose again, pleading, "I advised you to head straight for Guangzhou. What are you doing here? If we don't swiftly seize Tongguan's natural barrier, pursuers will overtake us, leaving us nowhere to hide." Yang Xiangan dismissed Limi's warnings with scorn and contempt. He stubbornly fought for 3 days but failed to take Hongnou. Realizing he'd been duped, Yang Xiangan belatedly decided to flee to Guangzhou. It was too late. Reinforcements caught up, and his army was routed. Yang Xiangan fled to Jialushu, his accompanying soldiers perishing one by one. Only he and his brother Yang Jishan remained, staggering back in a desperate retreat. At this moment, another small group of pursuers closed in. Yang Xuangan's heroic yet sorrowful end was at hand. He shouted to the heavens in grief and fury, somehow scaring off the pursuers. Yang Xiangan turned to his brother and said, "We cannot flee further. I refuse to be humiliated by the enemy. Brother, end my life. Shall I die like my idol Shuang Yu?" Dear audience, Yang Xiangan didn't even have a beauty like Yu Ji by his side. How could he compare to Shuang Yu? Yang Jishan drew his sword and killed Yang Xiangan. After slaying his brother, the younger sibling prepared to take his own life when pursuers caught up. From uprising to execution, a mere 2 months had passed. Yang Xiangan had tasted the life of Shuang Yu and then perished. Yet those who followed him faced misfortune. Emperor Yang of Sui executed over 30,000 of Yang Xuangan's rebel followers in one fell swoop. Anyone with the slightest connection to Yang Xiangan was exiled to the frontier. During Yang Xuangan's rebellion, he opened granaries to distribute grain to the people. In a fit of rage, Emperor Yang of Sui slaughtered all who had eaten Yang Xuangan's grain. Thus, Emperor Yang of Sui fanned the flames of rebellion. Opposition forces across the land swelled, totaling over 130 groups of varying sizes. Yang Xuangan's rebellion can be seen as an indirect catalyst for the Sui dynasty's collapse. However, among Yang Xuangan's followers, one person survived. Years later, Limi stood atop Wagangjai's hill and said to his subordinates Qin Qiong, Cheng Yao Jin, and Wei Zheng, "I once had a friend who aspired to be Shuang Yu. Alas, he refused to heed my counsel and met a tragic end. In the end, he followed the King of Chu's path to death. His dream of becoming Shuang Yu will be realized by me in the future."